Well, first and foremost, before I thank the resiliency of our team, I've got to thank our crowd because it was Cody's with us tonight, and the decibel level, I think, reached the 120, 121 level his freshman year when he had a breakaway against Michigan State. I remember hearing that. And I don't know what it's been since then, but I think that decibel level was broke tonight a couple times in the game because it was just excruciatingly loud. And it was tremendous. And the crowd brought so much energy. And we had a lot of energy because we were playing a great team. And Iowa is everything that they're made out to be. They're everything that we thought that they would be, from watching them on film, from the way they've gotten better over the years. They've earned their record. Nobody's handed it to them. Fran is a great coach. I mean, tremendous coach, tremendous staff over there. And we knew we were going to have to play a very hard, competitive, efficient game. At times we weren't efficient, but we found a way, and we were very competitive. We played with really strong grit, which these guys are learning what that's all about. And we got a lot of contributions from a lot of different people. And I thought for us, some real turning moments in the game, but I thought when Yogi came back in after took a couple breaths and went back in, I don't know if it's the 8-9 minute mark, whatever it was, I thought he really settled in. And his performance tonight reminded me of the Notre Dame game. He wanted to win the game so bad against Notre Dame, and he wasn't shooting it that well, and he settled himself in, made his teammates better, played tremendous defense, and raised everybody's level. And that's really kind of what happened tonight. And but we got so much good play from so many people. And to out-rebound this team, to get 44 deflections, to have the run that we had in the second half, to have so many people contribute is really it's an honor to coach them because they work extremely hard every day, and they do extra, and they study extra. And at the same time, they're doing such a good job in school, but they spend a lot of time with each other, trying to make each other better, trying to understand each game for what it is. And we had to have all of that and more tonight because that is Iowa's the real deal. I mean, there's no doubt about it. So we earned this one, and we're proud of our guys. And it only gets easier. Now we get to go to East Lansing. So there's our schedule. That computer had a way of spitting out the schedule for us this year. But I know Tom has been sitting there anxiously awaiting this game, especially after Tuesday night, and they'll have 15,000 of his closest friends ready to go along with his team, and it'll be a tremendous atmosphere. But this is a big step for us tonight, and we're looking forward to our next challenge on Sunday. Go ahead.
You said it's a big step for you guys tonight, especially going into the rest of your schedule. What can a win like this do against a top 5 opponent and a team like Iowa that you have so much respect for? What can it do for you guys moving forward?
Well, I think it's just another great experience. I mean, we'll find a lot of things that we could have done a lot better in the film, and hopefully we'll find some things that we'll do better when we go to Iowa, just like Fran will. But the bottom line is we competed throughout the game, and we played with confidence. I had tremendous confidence in our players tonight. Saturday night I got a little upset with them at times. I didn't see the same look back, and I think tonight they were really wanted to win, and at times we just needed to settle down a little bit. And I think that's what it is. I mean, you don't have to play perfect. You just got to try to play as right as you possibly can, and you've got to try to cover for one another. And you've got to win the hustle game because that's what Iowa wins. They win the hustle game. And I thought the way our bench came in and played, I thought the way we were on the glass, even though we gave up some timely rebounds, I thought the way we shot the ball from the free throw line, the fact we got to the free throw line. Those are the kind of things that you've got to find a way. If we'd have done a better job Saturday night of getting the ball in the paint and getting fouled, I don't think we'd have lost the game. We shot 26 free throws, and we were in the bonus at the 12.5 minute mark. So the reason I bring that up is because it's all part of those experiences that you have to learn from. And we have some older guys, but we're still a relatively young team. When it comes to the freshmen, it comes to Max being here, and they're learning so much about each other. But every game is giving you something different, and you got to figure that out. And I hope they take that from tonight.
Is there any more, satisfaction? You score 85, and nobody had more than 14, and you got Diego makes that shot, Morgan makes a shot, every guy on the team pretty much contributes.
I haven't really looked at the numbers, so I didn't even really know our scoring. I looked at the deflections and then the rebounds. So I haven't really studied that yet.
It wasn't like one guy.
No, absolutely. I just think some guys Troy was like Lazarus. I mean, he resurrected himself a couple of times in the game, right? I mean, I love Troy. We don't want to drive the baseline when there's three down there. We want to cut along that baseline when there's nobody there. But I mean, we wouldn't win these games without his activity and without the plays that he makes. And he was really, really aggressive on the glass. So I think there were some really good moments. I think there were some really hard-fought moments, and they kept fighting. I mean, it was like today, you never know who's going to be in to close a game. And so like today, we weren't on the court very long for walkthrough, but we did watch film. And one of the things as a coach that you have to determine, it's a fine line, especially on the day of the game. Okay, we're going to go over how they win games at the last 2 minutes, how they play at the end. Because you don't want to put doubts in your guys' minds. But at the same time, if they really take it in and those moments come, then they've got that kind of confidence. And, we very much felt that Iowa wasn't going away no matter what we did. So it was a bottom line that we had to figure out a way to win the game. And so it's more that to me than it is the individual scoring and things like that. I'm sure the percentages will not be great, but the fact that I know the free throw percentage was great, and that's key.
Bob. Tom, when your team struggled in Maui and then against Duke, were you worried that this team could kind of go either way?
No, not at all. No, I knew we were too young. I mean, I knew the inner workings, right? I knew we had some health issues with Thomas. I knew we just weren't as connected yet as we needed to be defensively. But no, these we've got too good of people for them to have gone, and I got a lot of confidence in myself and the staff. I mean, our things were correctable. And there's no doubt about it. And we were working really hard. I had a friend of mine tell me that, because it's sometimes we might have been working too hard. He said, no, that's how you build your mental toughness, right? You work hard, you play in those type of games, you go through those experiences to get your mental toughness, and it manifests itself. If you don't do the work, then it's too easy to give in games. And the one thing this team hasn't done is give in any games, And but I was never worried that they wouldn't get better, and I think we can continue to get better. And I think we have to. I mean, with this schedule, we have to. So I was never worried about that.
Mike?
Tom,
He's just blowing you off, Zach. Go ahead.
Tom, when you were deciding how to defend Jared, what made you decide to use Colin as the primary defender?
Well, I think that the one thing he's got, he's got some Nowitzki in his footwork. He's said this yesterday. He's got some Keith Van Horn. Our players wouldn't really remember Keith Van Horn, but he's got such good footwork. He's athletic. He's longer than people think. He leads the league in block shots. I think the key is that you can't give him a steady diet of anything. And we did not guard him as well, obviously, as we wanted to. We did not defend him the way that we had practiced as much. But that's a tribute probably to him, as much as us. But the key is that you can't get your hands in his body. I mean, you've got to get out wide, get your chest out, get your arms out, and be really active with your feet because he's so good with his feet. He is one thing that we spend time on is studying what's their strong foot, what foot do they need to score off. He can go off either. I mean, and that's for that level of player, for that size of player, to have that level of footwork to go with all the other things he has makes it really, really hard. And Jock's the same way. I mean, Jock's got tremendous footwork as well. So it was just a matter of giving him different looks, and we felt he was the best for it. And we'll have to really look at the film and see what we have to do better next time we play them. But they're hard to deal with. I mean, they are really hard to deal with. And one thing that's been such a plus for their team, one reason they're so good, is their numbers across the board. I mean, when they go to the bench, they don't lose much. And I thought our bench did a really good job tonight, and we took every one of their guys on the bench as serious as we took their starters, because you have to with Iowa. I mean, Ewell start for a lot of teams. Bear would start for a lot of teams. Wagner, those guys, those are going to be their starters eventually there. So our guys did a really good job of understanding personnel, but we've got to do much better in 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, whenever we play.
It seemed like you were in sort of the post-timeout huddles a little bit more tonight, particularly in the second half, and guys said that you were just really consistently.
I was in what type of huddle?
The
What?
post-timeout huddle, like when the five that were on the floor would go back out after.
Oh, you got to be careful with that because the referees, be careful you say that. They think you're stealing another timeout. But
Colin said that one of the keys to maybe weathering that storm from Iowa in the second half was just how positive you stayed with the guys. I mean, how important in your mind was that going to be tonight, maybe knowing you were going to get that kind of shot at some point?
well, it wouldn't have been any good if it wasn't real. And I think they've been around me long enough to know when it's real and when it's, you know, when I'm upset about something. I felt good with them. I mean, I felt like all of our mistakes were correctable. And I thought our mindset was great. And we've had 3 really good days of work. Sunday night we were going to practice anyways, but it was more combative than what it would have been based on, you know, certainly the way we played Saturday night, and they responded to that. And I had great belief in them. I mean, if we would have lost the game, it wasn't because they weren't doing everything they could do to win. You know, we might have looked back, okay, this turnover got us or this mistake got us, but they were really, really going at it. When you got a team that's like that, you just got to keep encouraging them to believe they're going to get it done.
Yogi's maturity this year versus years past. I mean, there was a stretch he went over 9 tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Would he have come out of that in previous years? It seems like it was a little different.
Not as easy. Not as easy. I think, again, the Notre Dame game was a turning point in my mind. And what he's done, I think Colin Hartman said this to somebody at some point, because I read it somewhere, that the difference in Yogi is he takes them with him, right? Like, Yogi is so smart. He's one of the smartest players I've ever coached, and bar none. And I've coached some really smart players. But he really understands the game, and he wants to win badly. And sometimes he's his own worst enemy because he tries to do it himself. And in the past, missing those shots would have knocked him out. But I think he's starting to believe he's a really good point guard, and that this team needs him to keep his confidence up so that they keep theirs up. And when he's moving the ball, I mean, it's just a matter of time before Yogi's going to make the next shot. So, and a lot of times I can see what he needs to correct. He doesn't shoot it on the way up, and it's just a little thing. And but we got him the blow when he'd missed a couple, then he threw that lob that almost went over the backboard. So it's time to get a break here for a minute, and he handled that extremely well. And no trepidation, went right back in and played great. So he's really matured this year. He understands, and it's got to keep up because he's had his moments. He could have led better on Saturday night. There's no doubt about that. But he's when he attacks, but makes the game easier for his teammates, it's amazing how well he scores. It's amazing how well he does things. And he's been a focal point of everybody's scouting report for really since Cody and Vic walked out the door, right? I mean, he's been the key guy there. So, and it's even more so with no James. I mean, it just moves everybody up to the level of what they're trying to take away because James isn't there stretching the floor. So, I'm really proud of him. I mean, he's doing an excellent job, and he works hard every day to be better.
Jeff, what do you take away from the kind of like about the last, I don't know, 15 minutes or so, the fact that you guys, in Yogi's words, kind of had to take a punch, got punched in the mouth, then really had to answer the bell. What do you take away from the fact that you guys really had to come up with that second effort again there?
Crowd helped us. I mean, let's be honest about it. I mean, they stayed really strong with us. But I think these guys have been down the road. I mean, they've earned their wins. I mean, they learned a lot from the losses. They've learned a lot from the wins, and we've been in some real battles. And I think this is obviously the best team we've played. I mean, thus far. I mean, they just from top to bottom. I mean, and their top to bottom is 1 to 9. You know, with what they have. So I think they got a lot of respect for Iowa. I mean, I don't think anybody looked at it, you know, would you like to get on a run like we had at Michigan or like we had against Ohio State? No, sure you would. But the other team's got something to do with that, too. So I just think they're growing up. They practice really hard, and they compete against one another. They push one another. There's a lot of encouragement with one another. I think all those things help. You know, it's the energy's high. You know, sometimes the energy may be a little negative, you know, especially maybe for me. But, I mean, it's going to be high. The energy's going to be high. And tonight it was real positive energy the whole way.
Zach Kiefer. Hey, Tom, what What led to your decision to play Harrison early, and what did you think of the minutes he gave you?
He did a really good job. I told Harrison the other day, he's done an excellent job for us. I mean, he's turned down scholarship offers to come to Indiana. And I told him and I told Ryan Burton the same thing. It's those two aren't doing anything wrong not to play. You know, sometimes there's a reason guys aren't playing, or sometimes they're just not good enough. Those two are. We just got some other guys that are ahead of them. And it doesn't have anything to do with me that they're walk-ons, right? Because of the way they work. They're in all they do all the same things everybody else does. And it's there's no question we're playing Yogi too many minutes at times. And I knew this was going to be an extremely fast-paced game. And Harrison just needed to have that confidence. Sometimes he's his own worst enemy because he overthinks it. And we just wanted him to play fast. I wouldn't say reckless, but try to play fast and be really, really cognizant of moving the ball to people and be confident that he's out there and not worry about who he's matched up with, just do his best job. And I thought he did a fantastic job. He's tough. I mean, he's a tough young guy, and he's got to play more. I mean, it's been me, not him. I mean, it's just been playing those other guys more. But, you know, with the loss of James when it happened, we've never had that depth that you truly want at the guard position. Now we can do other things because of OG and Jawan, because of their length, and they can guard guards. But, I mean, we have to have another guy that can handle the ball. And I was really proud of the way he played.